Welcome back. Thank you very much for staying with us here on SABC News. And of course, we continue with discussions around Nasrec, and we get the latest then as to what's happening on the ground in Nasrec. We cross to our senior politics reporter, Samkele Maseko, who is indeed there for us this afternoon. Samkele, all right, so a lot of talk then around what's been happening at Nasrec. Of course, we heard President Cyril Ramaphosa being excused from an NEC special meeting. You're right at the center of what most of us are really talking about, whether it is we're talking about the ANC, the ANC NEC or Nasrec or President Cyril Ramaphosa. Talk to us about what's going on there in Nasrec at this time.
At this point in time, there were 74 speakers on the list of NEC members who were to speak, and they were all given 3 minutes each. They've just come back from lunch about an hour or so ago, and deliberations are still ongoing. There is general consensus in the NEC that the president should stay on as president of the Republic of South Africa and also president of the ANC. But the discussion has now moved onto the content of the report itself. Does the ANC totally reject the report? Or does the ANC then say, we've noted the report and we will await the outcomes of the entire parliamentary process? That's where the debate is. The recommendation from the NWC yesterday evening was that the ANC NWC recommends to the NEC for the rejection of the report and for ANC members of parliament to vote against the adoption of this specific report, which is pretty much what the ANC leadership, led by the Deputy President David Mabuza, was also part of the meeting, the National Chair Gwede Mantashe and the Acting SG TG Paul Mashatile will have to do when they address the ANC caucus virtually later this evening on how they are going to go about their game plan in responding to this specific report in Parliament and what it does, because you've had the Speaker, Nosiviwe Mapisa Ngakula, essentially rejecting the ATM's motion to have a secret ballot in Parliament, but also saying that it must be a show of hands. So it essentially tells you that the ANC, when it addresses its caucus, must have its ducks in a row. But there are those ANC MPs whom are threatening to vote with their conscience, just like Derek Hankom and Mondli Gungubele did some few years ago against former President Zuma.
All right, Sammy, even if the MPs reject that report by that independent panel, it doesn't necessarily mean that President Cyril Ramaphosa is out of the woods yet. Now, does it? I mean, at the end of the day, we are building up to the elective conference, and there we know, anything can happen.
It doesn't mean that he's necessarily off the hook. It just sharpens the contradictions going towards the 55th National Conference, particularly for those whom are saying that he is a liability to the African National Congress. Phala is denting the ANC image and stature within society, and that he must be removed. So it tells you that the knives have been sharpened. His political detractors will leech and latch onto this negative aspect and this negative report that has been done by this independent panel against President Ramaphosa, who has threatened, by the way, and who is also in consultation of whether he should take this independent Section 89 report on legal review at the Constitutional Court. But the final arbiter of his political future is not the National Executive Committee, but the final arbiter will be the 55th National Conference, which sits in 11 days' time at this very same venue, with Dr. Zwelini Mkhize eyeing the presidency of the African National Congress and Paul Mashatile eyeing the deputy presidency of the ANC. But also the allies of President Ramaphosa are seemingly all coming together and regrouping once again to have one consolidated slate that speaks to their objective in the leadership of the ANC. Just today, when you read the open letter that the ANC and the president of South Africa sends to South Africans, you can easily see that he is essentially saying that I'm not going anywhere, I am here to stay. I just want to read an extract flow from that specific open letter of the president, which speaks to this issue of him not going anywhere. Quote, I have always said that the fight against corruption will not be won easily or quickly, given how many years it took for patronage and graft to become entrenched. Now that we see that progress is being made, we must do everything we can to ensure that this work continues unhindered and that none of the gains we have made are reversed. End of quote. That is essentially the President of the Republic of South Africa saying that I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to continue with the battle and the fight of state capture, corruption, and all the malfeasance that was allegedly taking place in the era of his predecessor, whom that predecessor, former President Jacob Zuma, yesterday in KwaZulu-Natal in Ward 1, KwaXimba, was very scathing against President Ramaphosa in essence and in fact, quote, calling him isgebengu, end of quote, which is essentially saying that South Africa and the ANC is currently led by a thug.
All right. Well, let's put aside the issue of the issues of President Cyril Ramaphosa for a little bit. Let's talk about the build-up then to the conference itself. I mean, what can you tell us at this stage? I mean, quite an important conference, but certainly a lot of attention now being about Phala, but there is a conference to be had either way. Let's talk about that.
The conference, there were supposed to be provincial general councils over the past weekend. Gauteng was supposed to have their PGC on Sunday. There was also Limpopo that was meant to go to their PGC, but all of these provinces have not held their PGCs, which may mean only Mpumalanga was successful in their PGC over the weekend, where Speedy Mashilo was speaking on behalf of Mpumalanga with the chairperson and the secretary out at the special NEC on Friday. They then tasked the deputies, which is the deputy chairperson, Speedy Mashilo rather, to chair that particular session and to open the PGC of the province. It tells you that the political imaginations are in full swing. Various provinces will be having their cadres forums. I know Nokamba, in our region, formerly known as Far North, will be hosting the provincial secretary, Beginkosi Mtolo, within the next few days. I know the Moses Mapita region on Saturday in KwaZulu-Natal, or on Sunday rather in KwaZulu-Natal, held a Lekhutla where Beginkosi Mtolo, the provincial secretary, was present at that Lekhutla. So there are going to be various cadres forums taking place over the next few days or 11 days building up to the 55th National Conference. But the mood of this conference is not similar to that of 2017. There's not that much tension or friction. Yes, there is here and there, but you can sense that it's a more vibrant and a more organizationally spirited contestation within the African National Congress, with Dr. Zwelini Mkhize piling up that pressure for him to contest and to be a serious contender against the incumbent president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa.
All right, Sammy, many thanks to you. No doubt we'll be catching up with you throughout. That is Samkele Maseko, our senior politics reporter, reporting for us from Nasrec there.